Today we revise the chapter photoelectric effect. There are the different theories will explain the nature of light. Out of that, most famous theories which explains the nature of light are the Newton's corpuscular theory, then the Huygens wave theory, Maxwell's theory, etc. Out of that Newton corpuscular theory, as per the Newton, the nature of light is a particle nature. As per Huygens wave theory, nature of light is a wave nature. But that two theories having some drawbacks. Therefore, new theory it will become, that will be the Planck's quantum theory. And as per the Planck's quantum theory, nature of light is a bundle or packet. That bundle or packet of energy is called as the photon. Bundle, bunch or packet of energy is called as the photon. Means the photon is a bundle or packet, means it's a particle. Now we see some important properties or some important terms related to photon. Most important thing is that photon is a particle and it travels with a speed, and its speed in vacuum is equals to speed of light in vacuum or speed of light in air. It is about a 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. Remember that speed of photon in a vacuum is a 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. Secondly, one of the most important sentence, rest mass of photon. If the photon is not in motion, then a rest mass of photon is 0. These are the two very important terms related to photon. Speed of photon in vacuum is a 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. Rest mass of photon is equals to 0. Now we see one more thing related to photon. Energy of photon is given by formula h into nu, where h is my Planck's constant and value of h is my Planck's constant. Its value is 6.63 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second, and nu is my frequency of the photon. When some examples will come, then remember that the frequency of photon is of the order of 10 raised to 14 Hz to 10 raised to 15 Hz. Now, nu is a frequency of photon, means number of photon incident per unit second is called as the frequency of the photon, and E stands for the energy. Now, if photon is moving with the speed of light, then speed or velocity is given by C equals to nu into lambda. Therefore, same formula of energy we express in terms of wavelength. Therefore, instead of nu, can write C by lambda. Therefore, one more formula is E equals to hc divided by lambda. Means for an energy of photon, we are getting the two formulae. One is h nu is a one formula of energy in terms of frequency, and in terms of wavelength hc divided by lambda. So I am writing the same formula here. Suppose if the wavelength is given and the question is for a 4200 angstrom wavelength, what is the energy in electron volt? Now what is that electron volt? Electron volt is a 1 Bohr unit of energy, and 1 electron volt is nothing but 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 joule. This is the conversion factor between electron volt to joule. Means energy is given in terms of electron volt, and you calculate energy in terms of joule, then multiply by 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. And if energy is expressed in terms of joule and you convert in terms of electron volt, then divide by 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. Suppose the wavelength is given 4200 angstrom. Just we take the one example. Wavelength is given 4200 angstrom, and the question is what is the energy in terms of electron volt? Then it will be very simple. hc divided by lambda. We are using this formula. Value of h is known, 6.63 into 10 raised to minus 34. Then c is a 3 into 10 raised to 8. Instead of all that things, just we write 12420 divided by wavelength. This wavelength is always in terms of angstrom. It is in terms of angstrom. Then this numerator becomes 12420. That is a product of 6.63 into 10 raised to minus 34. And it will be expressed in terms of electron volt. Now it becomes a very simple. 4 3s are So it becomes a 3, 4,000 3s are 12,000, approximately 3 point something electron volt, this much amount of energy. Suppose the wavelength is given in terms of nanometer, then we can express this 1242 divided by wavelength in terms of nanometer, and again energy is in terms of electron volt. Therefore, if the wavelength is given, then we can easily calculate energy in terms of electron volt. Either that wavelength is expressed in terms of angstrom or in terms of nanometer, no matter, just your numerator is a 12420 if wavelength is in terms of angstrom, and 1242 if the wavelength is expressed in terms of nanometer. We can easily calculate the energy. This is a one more property or one more distinctive character of the photon. That is, the rest mass of photon is 0. Photon is moving in a speed 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second in vacuum. Then energy is photon is given by h nu. Now the most core part of this chapter is one more thing is remaining, that is when the photons are incident. Suppose this is my source, and from this source photons are emitted, means the particles of bundles of energy are emitted, and that bundles or packets of energy are incident on a wall. Suppose these are incident on the wall. When photons are incident on the wall, at that time that photons exerts some pressure on the wall. With a particular force, that photons are incident on the wall, just like the gas molecules. Now, suppose the question is like this: the photon of power W, power of photon is given, or power of source is given. That is, that W is the power, and the photons are incident on the wall, and we have to find out how much force is required. Then it will be very simple. We have to calculate the force. Then power is given by basic formula for power is nothing but work done per unit time. Now remember, power is given by work done per unit time. Just we rearrange the terms, work done per unit time. Now what is the work done? Work done means force into displacement upon time. But displacement upon time means what? It's a velocity. So power is given by force into velocity. Therefore I am expressing same here, power is given by force into velocity. But photons are moving with a velocity equals to velocity of light, so it becomes a F into C. Therefore force acting on this wall is given by power upon C, that is the speed of light, means it is a 3 into 10 raised to 8, and your power is in terms of watt. Suppose the photons are incident on the wall with a force P by C. Again from that wall they are reflected. Then what is the total force? It becomes a very simple. When they are incident, at that time force is a P by C. When again they reflect, means same quantity of force is required, means after the reflection the force is 2P by C. Only once times P by C. After the reflection it becomes a 2P by C. Means source to wall force is a P by C. Source to wall and wall to source it becomes a 2P by C. This is about the power. Now comes to the important concept, that is the photoelectric effect. Remember that this photoelectric effect is most suitable for the alkali earth metals. Okay, and the outermost orbit containing the free electrons. Let this is one alkali earth metals. The outermost orbit containing the free electrons. These are my free electrons. These free electrons are present here. When some light of energy h nu is incident, where nu is a frequency, means when some photons are incident on the metal surface, then remember that there is a collision takes place between the photon and the electron inside that metal surface. That collision is what type of collision? That type of collision is a elastic type of collision. What happens in elastic type of collision? Then remember that in the elastic type of collision, momentum, that is a linear momentum whose formula is a mass into velocity. Here I am taking c because speed of photon is a c, and energy, that is my kinetic energy, it is given by half into mc square. Both the quantities are remain same in a elastic type of collision in a photoelectric effect. Therefore collisions are elastic, and that collision is takes place. One photon is incident on the one electron. Then what happens when one photon is, that is a 1-to-1 collision. when one photon is incident on this one electron, then this electron absorbs the energy. When this electron absorbs the energy, then that electron becomes free. Suppose energy is incident on that photon, so the incident on the electron and electron becomes free. Such a thing never happens. Just we take a one simple example. Suppose we are visited a one fair, and the entry fee or that fair or that mela is a 20 rupees entry fee is there. Okay, and we have, in the first case, we have only 30 rupees. Then what happens? You have 30 rupees, means that initially you have the 30 rupees. For entering, we require 20 rupees, means we are getting the 20 rupees. Then and then only we can enter inside that fair or enter inside this. Means your 30 rupees are utilized in this way, 20 rupees. And if you are not purchasing anything, then your 10 rupees are as it is, means that is you are saving, means you come with a 10 rupees. Total you have a 30 rupees. Out of that, 20 rupees is your entry fee to enter and to come out. That is your 20 rupees and 10 rupees are remaining. Suppose you have a 20 rupees only. Then what happens? Your entry fee is a 20 rupees. With that 20 rupees, you enter in fair, and again after some time or after enjoying that fair, you leave that less and you have zero money. Suppose you have only 10 rupees, then it never possible to enter inside, because entry fee is how much? It's a 20 rupees. Means here the entry fee indicates what? Entry fee indicates minimum energy. Then it requires for what? Minimum energy required for that electron to remove this metal surface. Minimum it requires what? 20 rupees. Minimum fee to enter in a mela, to enter in a fair is how much? Is at 20 rupees. Same thing here. Minimum energy required to remove that electron is how much? 20 rupees. And that energy is called as the work function. Here one term introduced, work function, its symbol is a phi. Work function means what? Minimum amount of energy required by that electron to remove that metal surface. That work function is my given. And this is independent of metal. As we move in a different pairs, then there are the different entry fees are there. In the same way, work function is different for the different material. It is independent of the incident energy. Incident energy वर डिपेंड नाही आहे, ते कोणावरती डिपेंड आहे? तर त्या मेटल वरती डिपेंड आहे. किती इलेक्ट्रॉन्स बाउंड झालेले आहेत, तेवढी एनर्जी त्याला रिमूव्ह करायला लागणार आहे, त्याच्यावरती ते डिपेंड आहे. ओके, दिस इज माय work function. Remaining energy is nothing but with that electrons will be moved, that is my kinetic energy is there, and the total, that is the work function and kinetic energy, is nothing but my incident energy. So my photoelectric equation, which is derived by Einstein, that photoelectric equation is very simple. Photoelectric equation is incident energy equals to kinetic energy plus work function. Incident energy is how much? H nu is my incident energy. Then kinetic energy is how much? Just I am writing here, Ke is my kinetic energy plus work function is H nu. Now, there are number of formulas for incident energy. Just I am writing one by one here once again. So use any one formula and prepare the equation. Incident energy is given by one formula is H nu, another formula is by Hc by lambda. Then kinetic energy, basic formula half mv square. Here electron move with a maximum velocity, so it's a V max, maximum kinetic energy, Ae max equals to half mv square. One more formula, E into Vs. What is that? E into Vs, that we explain within some time. And last term is my work function. This work function having a formula h nu, because it is again a minimum energy. That energy is h nu 0. Here nu 0 is my threshold, that we want to also explain. And in terms of wavelength, it is given by hc by lambda. After some time you can pause this video and note down the formula. Now we explain the actually photoelectric effect. What happens in the photoelectric effect? We study one by one part. In a first part, we have to vary the frequency of incident radiation. This is simple diagram for the photoelectric effect. I am not drawing in detail because it's a revision lecture. This is my anode. Here we collect the photoelectrons, so I am also called it's a collector. This part is my cathode. From this electrons are emitted, so I am also called it is my emitter part. And it is connected to current measuring device microammeter. Here we are connecting the supply. Suppose cathode, this is connected to the negative potential, anode is connected to the positive potential. Okay, there is no change in potential arrangement. Now initially small amount of energy is incident, then no electrons are emitted. Again, as we increase the incident energy, then it starts to emit. This means again we consider the previous example here. Frequency is particular frequency. When no radiations are there, means frequency is 0. This is my photoelectric current. This is my frequency. Now the frequency is only 10 raised to 14 Hertz. Then no photoelectric emission because it requires more energy. At a particular energy, electrons starts to increase from this emitter plate, and all the electrons are attracted towards the anode or collector. We are getting the photoelectric current. This frequency is called as the threshold frequency. And remember, for that, when you read in detail, we are getting that suppose the incident frequency is nu, threshold frequency is nu 0. The condition is like this: when incident frequency nu is greater, इससे ग्रेटर है, न्यू 0 से ग्रेटर है, और इक्वल्स टू न्यू 0, then photoelectric current starts to flow. Then we are observing the photoelectric effect. Then photoelectric current is getting, and remember that C is given by nu lambda, nu into lambda. So nu equals to C by lambda. So lambda is here inversely proportional. So incident wavelength is lambda. If incident wavelength is smaller than the threshold wavelength, incident wavelength is smaller or equals to threshold wavelength, then photoelectric effect starts. These are the most important as per CET view. Incident frequency is greater than or equals to threshold frequency, then photoelectric current is observed. Incident wavelength is smaller than or equals to threshold wavelength, then photoelectric current is observed, and nature of graph is like this. Now second part is the intensity. Remember that what is the intensity? Intensity is a different thing. Intensity is given by formula power upon area. Now suppose we have to increase the intensity of light, then what happens? Then number of photons emitted from this, it will be goes on increases. Then intensity, remember that intensity is directly proportional to photoelectric current. Generally intensity is expressed by symbol I. Photoelectric current is also expressed by I. The nature of graph is a straight line passing through origin. I proportional to I. Intensity is proportional to photoelectric current. I is proportional to I. This is the second thing. Now the next thing, which is the most important, that we introduce one formula: kinetic energy equals to E multiplied by Vs. What is that Vs? What is that E? That we have to study here very clearly. Now just I am drawing only these things. This is my photoelectric effects glass tube, or it's a evacuated glass tube. Suppose this is my cathode cathode is connected to strong positive potential. So, anode is connected to positive and cathode is connected to negative. When the electrons are emitted, electrons having the negative charge. Suppose my positive charge or positive potential connected is very high, very high. Then what happens? Then maximum electrons are attracted towards the anode, and I am getting the strong photoelectric current. Okay, at that time the photoelectric current is my maximum photoelectric current. Now I reduce that positive potential. As I am reducing the positive potential, then what happens? Then the photoelectric current is also reduces. Now, if this photo anode potential becomes a zero and still it's a negative, then which one is higher? Negative is higher, right? Then what happens? The electrons having maximum kinetic energy, they are moving towards the anode, and again we are observing the photoelectric current. Now, suppose this is at -3 and this is at -5, then which one is greater? Now here the cathode potential is greater. -5 is smaller. Then what happens? Then no electrons are attracted here. All the electrons go and repel. Means they move from cathode and rejected by anode. At that time, the energy is given by E into Vs. E means what? E means my charge on that electron. Vs is my stopping potential. Here this potential of anode, it retards, it not attracted the photoelectrons, it retards the photoelectrons, it rejects the photoelectrons. That potential is a stopping potential, and most thing is important that this stopping potential always a negative value. When a question asks what is the value of stopping potential, then we write it's a 5 because it is already considered stopping means it's a negative potential because it rejects the electrons, it rejects or it rejects the electrons. Now one more last question, don't stop the video. Now the last question is that what is the nature of graph? Most important thing, what is the nature of graph? Here I am drawing on y-axis, this is my stopping potential. On x-axis, this is my frequency nu. Now see here, equation is h nu, this is the incident energy, equals to kinetic energy, just I am writing, plus work function is given by h nu 0. Now kinetic energy equals to h nu minus h nu 0. Taking h as a common, so it becomes h in bracket nu minus nu 0. This is a formula for kinetic energy. So I am writing directly here. Kinetic energy is given by h in bracket nu minus nu 0. This formula gives a one most important theoretical question. Kinetic energy is depend on the frequency. Kinetic energy is linearly proportional to the frequency. Kinetic energy is independent of intensity. Now K is given by h in bracket nu minus nu 0. Now everyone know that one more formula for kinetic energy, that is a E into Vs. Vs is my stopping potential, retarding potential for the photoelectrons. E is a charge on electron. E into Vs equals to h in bracket nu minus nu 0. Now what is my Vs? Vs equals to h by E in bracket nu minus nu 0. Are you getting this part? H by E, here E is in multiply, it comes in a denominator. Now here the frequency, here the stopping potential. Then what will be my nature of graph? My nature of graph is like this. This is my nature of graph. Now this is my theta. Slope is nothing but tan of theta, because slope is nothing but y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. Therefore this tan of theta means opposite divided by adjacent. Opposite is my stopping potential. Okay, and adjacent is what? Adjacent is my frequency. So tan theta means a slope, and that slope gives my what? Vs. That slope gives my h divided by E. This is my slope. H is my Planck's constant, and E is my charge on electron. This is a one more important thing. Now just see one by one on what factors the terms are depend. Intensity depends on current, or current depends on intensity. Work function depends on matter. Kinetic energy depends on frequency. Kinetic energy is independent of intensity. Okay, these are the most important things. Just we revise the entire chapter of photoelectric effect. It is the most easy for a NEET exam. One sure question on photoelectric effect, and for CET exam, surely 2 questions on a photoelectric effect. You can easily get the questions on the photoelectric effect and we easily solve. Okay, hope you understand all the things. Now we stop it.